to say the least.
Why would I go to an arcade when I can just spend all my time alone in a virtual reality prison of my own making?
I foresee great things for you.
Like, that's the real thing in Overwatch. Why would anyone be leaving their house?
I know. There's fighting on like every street corner. Mechs, you know, running rampant, destroying everything. People having no regard for the lives of railings at all. So.
What they don't tell you is that they actually have like Star Trek level holodeck tech, which we all know is going to be the end of humanity. But let's get right into it here. We have a Torbjorn on the defense. Yeah. Theresa, it's happened.
NRG Esports here. They're going to go for, of course, that Torbjorn and Theresa squad. They jump on in. They're going straight for that turret. Instantly take it out, but Who Are You was stuck. So he will fall, and this attack is instantly squashed.
Anytime you make Who Are You give up his life for an inanimate object, you have done well. Sorry, Torbjorn, you might be saying my baby, but they're not actually alive.
So, I mean, I like the approach that Fusion University took there. They recognized the threat, but that's what you have to worry about. Stratus, he set up his trap right on top of it. He knew the dive was going to come out. Someone's going to be there, and they're not going to be able to clear it because of Butcher's barrier. So it was Who Are You that got caught out, and he wasn't able to dash away, and so he fell. And so now they're trying to find another way, but oh my gosh.
Elk getting caught out there. I think it might have been a halt into a little bit of extra damage right after. Butcher just ruining the push before it can begin here for Fusion University. And Zachary, by the way, on an adventure in the back.
Yeah, Zachary, he should be moving towards the point soon. Try to draw the forces of NRG Esports back, and there he is. It is being contested right now. Helix Rocket forces him to use that recall.
And he's still under pressure here, going for Soldier, but can't really go in until the rest of his team gets out there. Meanwhile, Fozik's still very good on the Torbjorn. You have Stratus over the top, just laying in the Junkrat damage. Doesn't he have to rip the tire here in this moment? So far, Fusion University has been completely flummoxed by this defense.
Yeah, this is just a lot of excellent zone control coming out from NRG. They're keeping their tank lines with that Torbjorn turret there. That allows Stratus to just use the rafters, use the balcony there, just to keep them zoned out even on the point. So as they try to move to this courtyard, they first have to deal with that threat of the turret, and then second, they have to deal with Stratus on the point.
One thing that's worth knowing here too, Who Are You has got nothing done here so far. To see Who Are You with so little an ult charge at this point of the game is a testament to how much the Orisa has just been messing with his ability to get consistent damage in at this point. And now, under pressure again. Damon from the back, attack visor up, gonna be zoned out a bit by the Winston. He's gonna end up falling, so Elk, Lucio from behind in that case. Still 5-on-5 here, and note from the defense. Have already burned through Molten Core, but they still have the tire reserves. Stratus been hanging on to it for a really long time, and has it if the fight gets a little bit dicey.
Now Stratus, he's going to be even that much more difficult to deal with as the armor packs have come out. So take a look. Rob has his armor along with Fozix and Stratus now, 275 HP going around. So now, pass into the Iris as Transcendence is used by Alarm here. Who Are You still having no ground here, isn't able to find anything. Primal Rage committed just to get rid of this turret.
And then you have Butcher on the top, good positioning, can bring up the Supercharger at any point. Now he's probably gonna have to, as so much space being made here by the Tankla, Krakenlack, and Beast Halo. Primal Rage finally making things move, but NRG Esports coming back in. Molten Core gonna be threat here in 1 moment. 1 minute left on the clock, but the defense, they are bloodied, they are bruised, and yet Butcher still permanently alive. And NRG's actually just going to slowly start moving forward and keeping pressure at this point. And there it is, Molten Core. Things going to get a little bit spicy as Fozix starts jumping his way over, looking for Zachary on the side.
Zachary, who has since swapped off onto that Sombra, has the EMP, so he's going to go ahead and shut down that turret with it. Elk getting the kill on to Damon now. The defense is falling apart. Fusion University have opened this up.
Alarm just made that look easy. Orb after orb hitting the targets at the end as respawn fatigue finally taking its toll. But for buying time, the Torb defense actually very effective for NRG Esports. And again, the biggest thing is that it just completely confused and frustrated Who Are You. But now, Jamerson, he has a blade.
He's got his blade. It took a while, so he's going to cherish it. There we go. Transcendence now from Alarm. Who Are You still has not unsheathed his blade because he does have to deal with that Winston there. It's a lot of damage coming out, especially when you're nano boosted. So they just wait it out, it dissipates, and now they're going to make another approach.
The approach is going to be coming in soon here for Fusion University, and it's going to be an old classic here. It's going to be barrier into blade, or at least that is what they should be looking to set up. and they're going to go straight up the gut here. Not much chill in this offense. Moving straight in, diving to the top. Here's the blade coming out from Who Are You? Diving in, looking for Zen. No, not able to fish it as quick as he would like. Does finally do so, but the time wasted makes a huge difference in Who Are You's positioning, and it's going to be a hold here from NRG Esports.
And that came down to Rob just landing all of his shots onto Fozix there. So basically 3/4 of the duration of the blade out from Who Are You just went into trying to commit onto that kill. Meanwhile, NRG was just cleaning up everyone on the point. And so now we're seeing the swap-offs coming out. Who Are You? He's switching over to the Tracer instead. Zachary on the Soldier 76. They're going to try and take this high ground away from NRG and give Zachary the perks that he needs to succeed.
And this is standard stuff for taking Hanamura, right? Where you go in, you secure the high ground, and you give the Soldier to breathe. They can power through here a bit with the barrier, but if they use it early, it's not going to be prepared for the blade. Now Stratus, he blades immediately a little bit early, unfortunately directly into the barrier, which came at the same time. Not even on reaction between Stratus gets nada. Zilch pushed away by Beast Halo as Fusion University now able to start moving in. They're going to jump off the high ground, start getting onto the point. They have the man advantage of D-Max Specs. This could not be better for them here in the situation. Now Cracklacken might be able to use self-destruct to make even more room.
And the nano boost out from Rob did absolutely nothing except leave him in a very vulnerable position. Butcher wasn't able to do anything at all with it. He does have that primal rage to come in and try and contest. He's dropped low, is forced to pop it. Now Who Are You with the pulse bomb, waiting for a prime target as the respawns have come in for NRG.
Really weird fight for how that started. Fusion University could have gotten a little bit more. They don't even get a tick in this particular situation. They're coming back in. Pulse bomb gets beaten. Zachary does have the perch he's looking for here, but the team is so scattered that he's not going to be able to defend it as heavily as he would. He's under pressure in the situation, does use attack visor, but now he's going to go down, putting most of it into a Winston, gets taken down by the Diva on the other side. And it's a bit of a mess here for Fusion University that desperately needs to reset with 1:30 left.
Yeah, I feel like they might have just been dissuaded too much by the nano-boosted Winston earlier on in that defense. That was a long, protracted fight. Fusion University decided at one point just to back away for some reason instead of being unrelenting in their pressure, allowed NRG to come back full force now. Take a look at their ultimates. They've got 4, almost 5 now. Fozix sitting at 75%, while Fusion, they've run out of everything.
Fusion has to move in, get NRG the burn stuff, and reset quickly. They have to make this a 2-fight fight. If it's a 1-fight fight, they're going to get destroyed. Pure and simple. You cannot take this one fight unless the other team messes up horribly. And hey, taking out Tracer early, that's one start. You have Stratus go in. Does have the nano boost on him. It was on Butcher. Dives in with the blade, looking for the second. Going to get it. But this is still fine for Fusion University. They needed to make this a 2-fight game. They made NRG blow some key resources. Now they can come in, and it's not ideal, but it's better.
Transcendence, Pulse Bomb, the self-destruct. Butcher only 22% away from his. And Fusion University, even though they were able to bait out those ultimates, they weren't able to build up their own, which is going to be crucial coming into this next fight now. Beast Halo, Primal Rage possibly along with the self-destruct, but they need the finishing power. They need Zachary's Tactical Visor along with the Blade. Who Are You has swapped off. Fozix starts off. Elk is already gone now. 20 seconds left for Fusion University. They've almost run out of gas.
That first pick, I mean, that's just puncturing the gas tank. Let's be realistic here. Now you're down to support early on. You are already in a rough spot to begin with, and Damon's looking to end this before he begins. Oh, he had a perfect stick opportunity. Doesn't pull the trigger. Uses it instead of Winston. Gets the kill, and that is about as close to GG as you get to finish things off. Fusion University unable to move in because of that early pick from Fozix, and they're just going to easily get thrown back by NRG Esports here. A few final kills will do it. It's going to be NRG Esports holding here on last.
No progress made whatsoever for the Fusion University squad, and so that's a huge win condition for the NRG team here as they do swap sides, and I feel like Fusion University missed a huge opportunity. They had those pickoffs. The nano boost was used on to Butcher, and it came up with nothing at all. But Fusion University decided to back away and for some reason reset and allow NRG to maintain control of the point. There was just never enough pressure onto point B.
There's also just a lot of disruption, right? I mean, when you have random moments like, oh, our Mercy has died to Zenyatta. It's, to a degree, it's hard to prevent that from happening. It is something that happens to Overwatch, particularly when Zenyatta just has a right read and makes it happen, but you're just going to be delaying things over and over again, and at best, Fusion University looked uncoordinated there. Meanwhile, NRG Esports had very good engages, and Look, let's not forget about what happened in the beginning of the game, where the reason why Fusion University didn't have as much time to set up as they would like to on second is that they took every bit of time possible to get through first, because Who Are You could not adapt to Torbjorn play, period.
Genji, you generally don't want to play into a Torbjorn. It becomes so difficult, especially when he's got that Orisa shield to rely upon to keep his turret alive, and they found it difficult to try and get in, especially when you've got that Junkrat also just shelling away while they're trying to focus it down. I mean, you take that trade any day. Turret for an elimination on the opposing team, every day you take that trade.
All right, well, now we'll get to see what the Fusion University defense has in store, and one thing they, oh, nope, not going to be doing it at all. I was going to say, well, they'll have the Ana here, the play sight lens a little bit more, and Elk going to be swapping off to Lucio last moment, but key thing of note here, there is no Sombra in play from either side from the looks of it, unless something changes in the last minute for the offense.
So now NRG Esports, all they have to do is camp point A, and 33%, one tick of point B, and then they will take away the lead from Fusion University. It's all tied up, all knotted up, 1-1 now. We got Standard Dive coming out from NRG Esports up against, well, Standard Dive from Fusion University.
Whichever team has the better engage here shall win. The name of Dive versus Dive, simple as it is. It's Damon coming in from the flank, trying to buy space for the rest of his team. As they move up this left flank, it's Damon moving forward, putting pressure on the tanks, and NRG Esports just trying to stay alive, heal up, and going again. And Zachary dives too deep, gets taken down early, and NRG Esports now with a great opening here, a man advantage as they move on to the point, and they're about to get the first tick.
Yep, already they've made about 20% progress now with Beast Halo falling. The defense are just crumbling in the face of NRG. NRG just slowly picking them apart. First tick in, here comes the second, and there's no one to contest at all. NRG moving on to point B. They're gonna have 7 minutes just to capture a third of it.
What a contrast compared to the Fusion University attack on first, where it took them every bit to get through a Torbjorn defense. NRG Esports just gets the early pick on Strauss and goes, okay, we've hit the easy button. And now they're going to be seeing Strauss swap to the 76 to get that 76 pressure on the high ground.
Alarm trying his best to spam his angles, get that Transcendence ready for this next attack. NRG Esports, though, don't have much power behind this push. It's going to just be raw mechanical skills versus skills here as they are contesting the high ground. Who Are You just getting some free poke off? 90% now towards his blade.
Or You very close to getting the blade, would like to use it and just turn this alleyway into a chop house. Dragon Blade up, going in for the flank, gets booped, might not matter. Looking for the Soldier 76 and is going to slice him down, finally making his mark. To be Fusion University with a successful defense, but it has to be one of many.
Rob did use his Transcendence into that last fight, even though it was after one of his members had fallen. I would say a little bit of a mistake here, but, you know, they have plenty of time to make up for that mistake. Still, 6 minutes on the clock left for NRG Esports now, but Fusion University looking to try their best to regain their footing here on the defense. They're coming up with a lot of ultimates for this next hold.
Not only do they have a lot of time, but they'll have to get one ticket. Oh my goodness, are they going to sneak this? They already got half the tick for free. It was David getting on while the rest of the team came to the front. Now they drop the barrier. NRG Esports committing even more. Looking for the Zen pick off, and no, Damon was not looking for the self-destruct, gets taken down. But NRG Esports still in this. Stratus doesn't really have good positioning. He has to work his way up the stairs. Now, slowly working towards that goal. And actually, it's been unfortunate for Stratus because he could keep that positioning. Now, he's not really able to lock things in. And the defense of Fusion University going to be pushing NRG Esports out.
Yeah, Beast Halo was able to make it up onto that high ground with the Primal Rage and batted everyone down to the low ground. So the whole time, Stratus was just stuck in that pit, not able to do anything at all. But this is where it matters. This is where Stratus needs to maintain that positioning. He's at 90% now towards his tactical visor. So they're going to go for that high ground push. Fusion University, they've got a lot of ultimates. Alarm with that Transcendence ready to go.
NRG Esports right now working their way up towards the top, and goal here, make space for Stratus. They've already taken out Beast Halo, one of the few things that can interrupt. Now Stratus, room to go, tack visor up, and not as much room as he thought. The pressure on him gonna force it back. It's not what he would like to hear. Zachary starting to turn it back, and Who Are You? Not even done yet, a blade out. Going into the supports, the disruption here perhaps has been enough, where even though Stratus had more room towards the end, doesn't matter when your supports are out of the fight.
Good time burned off the clock, but there's still 4 minutes and 10 seconds left for NRG. Stratus, I feel like he should have waited for the D.Va to be at least lower HP when he went for it. He saw Beast Halo going down and thought, this is my moment. But again, there's an order of operations when you want to use that visor, and it's to get rid of the D.Va, get her out of position at the very least, but she was right there to soak up everything now. So they have to rebuild their ultimates.
They do, and now Fusion University on the defense here, they do have attack or a nano boost up. I'm going to go in Beast Halo here, and Beast Halo moving in is going to be diving into Butcher on the top end. They've already taken down one, and NRG Esports, I think they've had enough. They don't even want to go into it when you lose a tank that early.
Yeah, a lot of time burned off now. Almost half their remaining time, 3 minutes and 20 seconds left. NRG Esports not able to bait out as many ultimates as they would like from Fusion University. Fusion University, even though they are on the back foot here, have been good about maintaining their ultimate and their ultimate lead now. They've got this Pulse Bomb along with that Primal Rage once again, so Stratus tries to go for that high ground, look to Beast Halo to play that interruption to intercept him.
Meanwhile, Zachary off on a mission right now, going off on the flank, has a Pulse Bomb, looking to strike NRG Esports from behind. He's almost up the stairs, looking for Rob, at least want force out Transcendence, and he will. Forces Transcendence out, makes him dive down into the pit. While this is going on, it's still perfectly fine for NRG Esports. They do see that crack effect early on. Zachary gonna go to the back line, still chasing, he got taken out by Rob. But again, it's with 2 people down already, I don't think NRG Esports has what they need to even get this one tick.
Yeah, who are you getting chased down by that Primal Rage? Winston, it's Rob to finish him off. But with the defensive respawns along with the nano boosted Beast Halo jumping right on top of Rob, he's gonna melt him away, but now Stratus is back. He's got the tactical visor out. There's no D.Va in his way. But
they gotta stay on the point. They almost gave up. If they move off the point for you in a second, it's gonna be game over. It's only a 1-tick threshold here as Stratus. Not on the high ground anymore, but plenty of room to work with. Fusion University desperately struggling to come back out with respawns, and they might just do that. Who Are You gets a cleanup needed, and Stratus has to back out. So close, yet so far.
2 minutes now for NRG Esports, and I just feel like they're approaching this a little bit incorrectly because they know they have only that 1 tick they need to take. They could just apply the pressure onto the point. Instead, they're trying to maintain that high ground for Stratus instead of pulling Fusion University apart. Make sure that the threats are optimized here. Put someone on the point, make sure that someone has to drop back. And that splits up the army of Fusion University.
Whatever happened to the age-old strategy of hold up 6 ultimates, it's gone away. You can abuse the advantage you have here, but NRG Esports, they haven't really decided to do that. They've tried to fight it straight up. Now Fusion University well their way to a tie as Alarm takes down Stratus from afar. The secondary fire from Zenyatta striking true. Again, that's going to be forcing NRG Esports far back, and they had so much time. They had 7 minutes for 33%, and Fusion University has almost completed an near historic hold.
Yeah, they're still not committing onto the point. Fusion University aren't, feeling that pressure. They need to turn the pressure onto them right now. NRG just committing too much to this high ground here, trying to evict Fusion University. That's afforded them so much time. They have almost all their ultimates. This is just going to be an apocalypse.
Fusion University still in a very good spot here. They have 5 ults on the defense, about to be a full 6. They're rope-a-doping NRG Esports right now, but Elk goes down early. That's going to force a response. Pulse Bomb comes in the Phosix, and Who Are You is just waiting up the Transcendence. But as soon as it goes, now goes Who Are You. Blade out, looking for targets. Finds Stratus in the gully on the bottom, looking for a little bit more. The self-destruct, this is dangerous. It zones people out. NRG Esports halfway to their goal right now, but the nano boost on the crack Lacken, they just look at a powered-up D.Va and go, nah, we're going to back out, but that's time lost.
Alarm has fallen. Rob not exactly where he wants to be, but doesn't matter as Butcher is finding all the kills now. Whoa! 3 kills going over for him, and they might have just done it. NRG with a huge sound barrier with a tactical visor. Stratus pushing forward. They have broken the defenses. Now we're seeing some stall coming out from Fusion University.
The stall coming out, but how long can it be? They got to get on the point. They have very little room to go with. That's why they had the May on there at the ice block, but that room made by Butcher, the fall through on Stratus. We're in overtime at Fusion University. They were so close, and yet now it's looking like it's going to be NRG Esports game. All they have to do is take down a few more respawns. Bit by bit, piece by piece, NRG Esports takes Hanamura away from Fusion University.
That did not go the way you guys were expecting it, did you? That was like 2 maps in a row that you guys were kind of rooting for Fusion, and NRG came up from behind.
It's not rooting for Fusion, it's using history.
Yes,
It's using history to be like, Fusion should have this, and then
right.
Fusion comes in and it's just like, Torbjorn, that wasn't in the preparation manual.
Yeah, the cheese really paying off for NRG there. I mean, that Torbjorn Theresa, we've seen it on Hanamura before, but mostly, I mean, if we've seen it, it's been on like Numbani where they like tuck it into a corner. But Dive it can be so difficult for Dive to try and deal with. And we saw Who Are You struggling. I mean, you pointed it out. It was about 2 minutes into their attack. Who Are You was sitting on about 40% towards his blade,
which is ridiculous because he's normally known for being like, "Hi, I've been in the first battle for 2 seconds. Now I have my dragon blade." Yeah. So and that was a starving Who Are You when normally he's feasting.
So Who Are You being hamstrung kind of in the beginning of it? Like, why did that happen to begin with?
I think it just, Torbjorn isn't a common strategy. It really isn't. Like the Orisa Torb stuff, it's almost in the realm of memes, right? Where it happens, but it was never really successful for Renegades when they tried to run it. And, Who Are You was expected to go in and be like, throw a few shurikens, bring out the blade. And it's like, oh, this.
Towards the beginning of that map, we saw a really awesome Zenyatta play. Let's talk about this.
Oh yeah, Alarm just opening up everything. But honestly, it's the support line for Fusion University between Alarm and Elk. Throughout this series, they've been very proactive in a lot of these eliminations for their team. So Alarm is just one of those players who is known for being a standout Zenyatta, being a standout Ana, because he does come up with these frags for his team often.
And here's another replay. This is Stratus on Genji here. If you want to talk a little bit about this, CP.
Well, Stratus on Genji, this is his bread and butter here, where he didn't quite get the nano boost, went on Butcher, but didn't stop him from getting to the back line and getting the cleanup needed, which was, again, more time bought for NRG Esports. And it was good to see Stratus on the Genji again, where, again, I think the first 2 maps were a little bit different from what we expected, but this was more closer to how we thought these teams might play to begin with.
Yeah, and I like actually seeing how that played out when you do have Butcher on the Winston and Stratus on the Genji. Even though the Genji had the blade, almost all of the nano boosts went on to Butcher every single time. So they are starting to show off like their stylistic difference in how they want to play with an Ana. So in the future, will they continue to enable Butcher more that way? We'll see.
Alrighty, well here we've got map selection because NRG won. Again, Fusion is picking and it is Dorado. What do you guys see coming up for this map?
Who Are You Playground.
Okay.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those maps where Genjis have so many avenues of approach to make, and we'll see. I mean, he's played Dorado forever. Everyone's played Dorado forever, but like for a Genji to be able to take it to a place where he has so many walls that he can climb around, so many walls that he can actually just duck out of a lot of the fire, it definitely helps out his playstyle.
Yeah, and I mean, for Who Are You going into this, also I think it's a case where, I mean, we have seen Summer be effective here, but you can also get away with not running it. I don't know where each of these teams sort of values it here, because you would think you would see, we didn't really touch on it, but it's interesting we saw so little Sombra play on Assault when historically that was their playground, but we saw it so much more on basically the Control and a Hybrid earlier today.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, let's get back into the action and see if Who Are You's Genji makes an appearance.
Well, that did not take long to answer, now did it? Looking at Fusion University here, we do have Who Are You on the Genji as we look at the ships here. Of course, in the perfectly clean, pristine bay of Lumerico Corporation, which provides very well for all the citizens here and keeps crime to a minimum.
And you really just want that sponsorship. You'll get it. With this amount of shelling, yeah, you are going to get it. But right now, NRG Esports up 2-1. With this map victory, they will walk away with their first victory here in Contenders. Now, they are sitting on the defensive Sombra. They've got Fozix, of course, on the Ana, who plays out well on this map. She's got long silence, but for Fusion University, they're just going back to that 2-2-2. Zachary was hovering over Widow for a little bit, but instead he goes back for that Tracer. So now the dive instantly comes on out for the high ground, but there's the counter dive coming up from NRG Esports.
And Who Are You on the Genji? No real surprise here, being a big part of the dive behind the scenes, and I'm kind of glad to see Zachary on the Tracer. I mean, he has proven to be more versatile than expected, but I don't think Widowmaker is necessarily his jam. Not yet, not now. But Fusion University, for now, keeping 3 on the payload and stopping NRG Esports from really getting good positioning in the courtyard. This is a problem for them with how far they're getting pushed back.
Yeah, it looks like Damon just not having those moments where he wants to get the hack off, and he hasn't been able to so far. No one has been stopped on the side of Fusion University. Cracking like an already picking up two kills to his name now. NRG Esports regrouping, but take a look at that dive. Great coordination as Zachary gets on top of Rob. Beast Halo jumps right on top of him, but Beast Halo did go a bit too far. Still, the kills going over in favor of Fusion University, and surely they'll secure first.
And Fusion University sticking to the old school, sticking to the basics for them, seemingly working out here where just off of the initial engagement, they put NRG Esports on the back foot, and from winning the poke damage war, getting a key pick off here and there, just there wasn't a moment for NRG Esports even to stop and catch their breath.
Right now, NRG are really struggling to play with this Sombra. They're sticking with it. Damon at 85% only so far. He will have the EMP soon, but still, it's taken him a while to actually get it. Krakenlaken has been shutting him down time and again.
Who are you? Here on the top has Dragon Blade up and ready. Just waiting for the engagement. Now he's going to move in. Oh, that's actually... Oh,
that was really mistimed because the nano boost along with the visor came out, but he decided to go with it. Who are you? Instantly shut down.
Well, the thing is that he actually could have stayed on top, but his reaction was to drop down because of the soldier, right as the soldier was dropping down at the same time. So it was very unfortunate, as you mentioned, and it just sort of caught everything off guard. So the good opening Fusion University thought they would have completely shut down, and now NRG Esports gets to reestablish themselves here on second.
So no swaps coming out yet. Who are you sticking with that Genji? But yeah, NRG definitely have stabilized here. Damon has the EMP now. He's just looking for any targets, trying to go in for the flank. Here we go. He's stealth up, and now he is jumping in. The tank line's sitting really far back, and he's still holding on to it. There it is. Lands straight onto the tank line, and they're able to clean up Beast Halo because of it.
EMP sets the stage here for NRG Esports, but might not... Okay, now it's actually getting a little bit worse. Krakenlaken was really far deep. If he wasn't caught there, they could have backed out, reset, and it's not bad to have the EMP do that, but Fusion University still getting some payload push here. They're not fully resetting. They're still daring NRG Esports to dive into them, and NRG Esports are not really trying to contest the payload that much right now.
3 minutes and 30 seconds, Fusion University banking up a number of ultimates. They've got the sound barrier along with the self-destruct and primal rage. Alarm getting close to that transcendence now, while NRG, they've used a number of ultimates in the last few fights, but they've got that nano up again in conjunction with Butcher probably, but there it is. Dive straight out to Phozix. Too late for him to even use it.
Who are you? Moving in, got Phozix early on, off of the barrier by Elk. Now he brings up Blade, going in, gets Damon, looking for a little bit more, diving in, and no one in the safe, no one there, but doesn't quite matter. Everyone's pushed back. There's still going to be an opportunity for NRG Esports to come back out here and contest, however.
Indeed, they've only got 2 members on the point right now. Zachary on the lurk. He's waiting for anyone to try and exit from the left, but they're going to use an early nano boost. He almost got the one clip. There we go. Charges in with the melee. Post bomb. Zachary, what is going on?
Zachary able to keep Fusion University on the winning edge right now. Stopped NRG Esports from getting in the way they wanted to. Self-destruct coming up there, and Fusion University well on their way. We've seen teams get gummed up here in second a lot here on Toronto, but this time not really going to be the case. Or is it? We still have people coming into play, but this time it is going to be Fusion University's go. They will get through second.
Staggered kill onto Rob there, but he was going to get caught out regardless, and so he'll regroup with his team now. Fusion University with that cap now have 3 minutes and 35 seconds to finish out this map. We're seeing Stratus swap off onto that Tracer now. Try and deal with Zachary. Zachary with another pulse bomb after that last fight.
And he's going to be looking for it, right? We see what he does. He knows there's a out there, but what he didn't know and what we didn't see is that there was a Sombra right there that stopped him from getting back. But now he's looking for the Winston, right? Winston's going to leap back. He's going to make this more of a tank busting pulse bomb. It doesn't even need the pulse bomb to get down Butcher. Now leading the way for Fusion University. They get the pickup they're looking for. Both Winston's out. Zachary still diving deeper. He can't go anything but deep. Ends up with another pickup. This is where you pulls off the blade. Finds 2, but doesn't have a dash, go in and finish it, and yet still looking fine for Fusion University as they clean up the outskirts.
A lot of skirmishes taking on, but there we go. Pulse bomb looks like it might have gotten eaten up. Self-destruct just to zone him all away now, but there it is. The hack comes out, the EMP from Damon. This might be what they needed to stabilize on the side of NRG Esports. Beast Halo answers back, Butcher falling. Phozix gets the DMEC now, and so they will have to retreat. Will Fusion University.
Fusion University, what all good things must come to an end, and yet 2 minutes and a half to go here on last. That's still plenty of time.
Plenty of time indeed. Do they have the closing power? Who Are You has been struggling to find anything with his blade so far. Only coming up with 1, maybe 2 now. It's Alarm. will build up his transcendence as they go into the next fight. Who are you? 27% behind him.
Now Fusion University getting ready for the setup right now. They'd like Alarm to be able to transcend as many people as possible, which means they have to fight more payload. Oh no, they bury a transcend at the same time. You can't have that happen. The value just completely lost in the engage. And NRG Esports, now they can counter-engage with the transcend of their own. They don't have to worry about counterplay there. And Fusion University, they look lost early on in this fight, and they're gonna pull up the blade, but transcend is there, and Who Are You simply has nowhere to go.
He has not been able to make much happen with this Genji. Needs to find more value.
They almost snuck it. They almost snuck it during that event. 0.25 away, so what was really bad could have worked out to something good, but NRG Esports on top of it at the last second.
Zachary, just a little flavor of soon there. You get the back cap for his team. 1 minute and 19 seconds now, Fusion University. Time is starting to run out here. Damon, he's got that EMP. He's going into the back. He spots it out, gets it onto the Genji. Who Are You is not having a good time. A Kraken like it is. 2-man kill with that D.Va self-destruct. Elk even gets in on the fray there. And now it's all down to Smex. As soon as he gets D-Mexed, there's going to be Fusion University completed out.
Fusion University better late than never. And actually, even though they got, hung up a little bit on last point there, finishing Toronto, period, is plenty good in and of itself, and doing so with 57 seconds left on the clock, even better. So this is looking pretty good for them. Yeah, they had some trouble on last, but they got through first super easily. They got stopped once or twice on second, but they prevented that sort of stalemate on second towards the very end. And overall, just a more aggressive, more standard style for them, seemingly doing them a bit of favors.
Yeah, even though Who Are You isn't, getting the most out of his blades, isn't getting the 3-mans, he's still at least targeting down the supports, which is primarily what he's been looking for. And Zachary is constantly there to help him pepper them down. Zachary, I want to talk about him more. He has really come alive during this series.
Well, and this has been the Zachary redemption tour, right? Where I was one of the hardest people on Zachary in his previous incarnations, right? Where, whether it be his Contender Season 1 NA, where I wasn't even casting that, I was casting the EU side. I still remember going to the green room going, okay, Zachary's about to pull out a Dragon Blade, no one's going to die. And then no one did. Or previous stints on that Renegades team, but getting out of Detroit has seemingly done him all sorts of favors, which, I mean, has happened in many industries, I suppose. But either way, it has been a reformed Zachary.
Reformed Zachary. It's NRG. On the offense, Fusion University, they are going to run the defensive Sombra. Zachary picking that one up. Well, Who Are You isn't feeling the Genji anymore. He's going to go with that Tracer.
And this doesn't surprise me too much to see them going to the Sombra on the defensive end, although it is a little bit weird because we have seen Who Are You put on very good defensive Genji performances here. Meanwhile, for NRG Esports, no Sombra in place on the offense. Instead, going to be looking for Damon to be the engine with Widowmaker picks from the side. But key to that is going to be Stratus having to make distractions so they don't just focus in on the Widow.
Yeah, and also take a look at the support line. They're going with Kha'Zix on that Mercy, give that damage boost over to either Rob or Damon, allow them to create or build up their ultimates that much quicker.
Oh, early!
And there it is already. The body shot, damage boosted by Damon. That is the huge that you really need to worry about. Who Are You?
And he just piled on by he got the headshot on the D.Va there. It means D.Va's going to be out of the fight for even longer. It means NRG gets more room to take this first area inside the courtyard. Very good stuff.
No one can
building up even more ultimates. There we go. He's already got his first recon visor. There's the jump in. Stratus now in the back line with the help of Butcher taking out Beast Halo. And it's all Damon. It's all NRG in the kill feed.
NRG able to move on forward, and as good as Fusion's early attack looked, NRG Esports, their attack looking even better here as Damon continues to wreak havoc on this Widowmaker over the top. This has been a huge problem for Fusion University.
Fusion University, just no answer to Damon at all whatsoever, so they're going to make some swaps. Zachary going back to the Tracer. Who Are You wants to have a bit more verticality to try and challenge that Widowmaker on the opposite end.
Okay, so one thing here, they're going for another fight. They didn't leave anyone left on the payload for a while there. That little bit of time lost there from NRG Esports. I mean, I understand the blood loss, but guys, come on. As the engage comes into Fusion University, they're going to be pushing NRG Esports back a bit. And yet Beast Halo goes too far out, ends up getting picked off. And NRG Esports continues their assault of just ruining the tanks of Fusion University early on in these fights.
Oh, wow. Stratus with another kill out to Zachary now. More staggered kills. for NRG, and so that will delay this next hold, this next defensive retake coming out from Fusion University here. It looks like the communication might just be breaking down on the side of Fusion.
Fusion, they've been bamboozled here to an extent. They have not been able to really get anything going, but hey, they open up the sleep here. Stratus with the blade into the back, it just completely, totally denied into a Tesla can Transcendence. Nothing good was going to happen there for him. As Fusion University playing that upper right corner, dealing with the respawns as they come in, and it's Butcher who's trying to do something here, but Fusion University trying to regroup.
Yep, they will force back NRG now, especially with that self-destruct. But oh, Beast Halo, he's got to back away, but he's getting focused down. Luckily, he's got, of course, Kraken to keep him safe, keep him alive. Elk wishes he had that same treatment though, as he falls to the headshot of Damon.
Widow main, by the way, just Damon continually landing good shots, but Zachary, the equalizer, the bomb in the back, ends the threat here. Fusion University defense on the way back out. And again, this is where teams get gummed up as they try to get through second right now. Fusion University still has plenty of tools to keep this delayed, but now they have to go back out. 4 meters, 8 left here. Who Are You has the nano boost on him. Now he's got to move at the blade, takes down Fozix in one swipe, removes the supports from the fight, and gets to put himself back on the payload where he's still needed. There's still a few stragglers left.
So, nice stagger onto the Diva there, but still NRG. They've got 3 minutes and 10 seconds to work with. Fozix still on this Mercy. We'll have that Valkyrie in play for the next fight now, while Fusion University, their reserves almost running dry here. Alarm, that Transcendence for this fight. So AoE healing versus AoE healing, it doesn't matter. Damon receiving that res as they try to go aggressive on that.
It doesn't really matter that he has the Transcendence for this fight. When you get the early pick off, as Damon gets slapped again. Damon, public enemy #1, getting abused by supports right now of everything else. First Zenyatta, then Ana. Clearly, when your DPS are doing the job, it's time for the supports to put the pressure on the Widow in the back. Still, we see NRG Esports moving forward, looking for the opportunity. Butcher gonna find Beast Halo again. Target pressure on the Fusion's tanks, but it's Zachary that gets into the back line, makes it 5-on-5, alarm to Transcendence, letting him stay nice and healthy in the situation. And Damon, unable to do enough damage to deal with Who Are You, is getting healed up by all ends. And it's Zachary that's not being looked at here, continuing to do damage in the back.
Yeah, we even had Butcher use his Primal Rage just to focus on anyone in the back, but Specs finally take out Elk. Ultimately, Butcher will fall now, and it's still Specs coming in for his team right now as he's trying to keep this payload moving. Now it is being contested. Blade out for Who Are You. He gets the kill out to Fozix now. Will he get any more? Dashes back just in the safety of his team.
It was double blade out from Who Are You and Stratus, but Stratus, who came up with the goose egg, didn't get really anything in that case. And now we see how hard it is to get through Dorado second, where Fusion University started out terribly, but they've able to defend this corner really well.
Yeah, now NRG are left with nearly 1 minute and 30 seconds. Damon sticking with this Widowmaker now. But having a little bit of a rough go of it. Sleep darts constantly his way, courtesy of Elk. Zachary now with the Pulse Bomb also took him out earlier with one of those. Now he's in the back, does not connect with that Pulse Bomb.
Does not, not even close. Found the hugest gap between 3 people possible, but Kraken, he has a bigger bomb, takes down 2 in the back, including Mercy, including Widowmaker, and that has just taken the wind out of the sails of this NRG approach. That's why they're backing out. You gotta reset here, and now Jamerson, with a minute left, they're looking at what could be their final attempt, and they don't have a whole lot to back it up.
Yeah, they'll have the Recon Visor, they'll have a self-destruct, but those aren't the tools you want to close out a fight. Fozix luckily will have, of course, that Valkyrie for the AoE heals, as Rob is really behind it right now. 20%, only 30 now towards his Transcendence, while Fusion University, they've got some great tools. They could just go ahead and throw a nano onto Beast Halo and send him to the back line early. Valkyrie coming out now from NRG.
NRG just wants to set this up on the best possible note, hope they get early pickoff. Fusion University playing it back a little bit. They messed the nano boost early. Who Are You ends up falling, and all these people have died before Alarm was even able to transcend. Fusion University might have taken this a little bit too lightly here. They needed to engage with the transcend a little bit earlier, and now they're playing from the back foot. NRG Esports still with a chance of keeping Dorado in play, in contest, and now they're going to do just that. They get through second, and what a play for NRG Esports to play around Fusion University had.
Yeah, they threw in that self-destruct, and of course, as everyone tries to avoid it, they get picked apart by the NRG squad there. Last cleanup kill onto Kraken Lacken, and now they'll be moving forward into Lumerico. 1 minute and 15 seconds left in their clock, but still, now they have to contend up against Who Are You with that blade, and Kraken Lacken himself with a self-destruct coming up.
Lumerico facilities are made with only the finest materials for the safety of the public. Just want to let you guys know. Fusion University, though, not wasting any time. Diving in. Who Are You? Blade up. Getting ready to use it, but under so much pressure, didn't really feel the need to. There's so many targets there you can cleave through, but so many ways to die. Who Are You? Biding his time, would like to have a little bit more health in the situation. Meanwhile, Zachary off the flank. Widow in his sights. Damon gonna go to the ceiling. Gets healed up by Mercy. It's not the easiest pick, but hey, why not swap to the Mercy in that situation? As finally the blade comes out from Who Are You? Takes down Damon, and that might be around it. He's gonna back out. No reason to chase that down.
Who Are You has been having some very awkward blade timings there. Definitely did not need to use that into the fight, as Fozix was the first one to fall. So now NRG, they don't really have to worry about the closeout power of Who Are You in this last fight, but still, 10 seconds left, and they have quite a ways to push this payload now. This
is not advantageous for NRG Esports at all. Their best case scenario would be a Diva self-destruct, take down 2-3 people, make the rest easy, but pretty hard to do that on this map. But Rob finds Zachary early on. That's step one. What's going to be step two? Well, it's not Rob Dab getting picked off, I'll tell you that. 5 on 5 right now. Specs holding on to self-destruct. Remember, he could be one of the keys here. Self-destruct to the top. How many is it going to get? Doesn't get anything here. Going to have to remech. Even right now, which is good for Fusion University on the defense. Remember, respawn advantage as they move in, but NRG Esports off of Stratus, dashing in and around, was down to 30 HP, lives, picks up 2. NRG Esports on the way to what could be a victory here as Stratus goes wild.
Yeah, they still have to move that payload forward. Does NRG Esports Fusion University were able to complete out the map, so now in overtime, Fusion, they'll have one last opportunity just to get the win right
You gotta drop the beat right now. Elk drops the beat. They get right out. It hits more people than you could ever expect. Who Are You with the blade? Moving to the backline, finds Rob immediately. The counter from Who Are You takes down 2. And suddenly, Fusion University at the 11th hour, bringing this back, protecting the payload, and bringing us to a map number 5.
Ooh. All right, so this is going to bring us into our fifth map of the season. How do you guys feel about it? How do you guys feel coming out of that game?
You know, as someone who came in today very sick, I come to LA, first thing I do is get sick. Thank you, teams involved, for pushing games to map 5. My voice clearly, this is the best thing for it.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see Oasis being the redemption for Who Are You. He's been having a very difficult match so far on that Genji, finally coming alive just for that last fight, but for the most part, he has been struggling throughout this matchup. Yeah,
you made the comment that he was mistiming a lot of those blades.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, he used a really early one, or not an early one, but one he didn't need in that first engagement when they made it onto third in Dorado, where they got the pick off onto Fozix. And once you get a support there, everything does really tend to fall, especially when it's a Widowmaker that's going to be the next follow-up target. So he did not need to use it, but luckily for them, they were able to win it out in the end.
We have a really cool replay here. This is Zachary on Tracer. ZP, you want to talk about this?
Well, of course, we have Zachary here in the backline. This is his ambush, right, where he grabs one, goes on the other side, drops the pulse bomb. It's exactly what you want from a Tracer to disrupt a team before they can even get going. The goal from the Tracer is not to play Overwatch with the enemy team. The goal for the Tracer is to set the fight up in such a way that the other team doesn't even get to play Overwatch. Instead, they have to go back to their spawn and try again.
Another thing that you guys commented on was Damon's Widowmaker.
Yes, Widowmaker, of course. We've seen it a lot in OWL with teams bringing it on first point, and his Widowmaker was poetry in motion in the beginning there, was getting the pickoffs that you want to see from Widow early on, and quite simply made for a lot of momentum in the game. And even though it wasn't enough in the end, it's still what you want to see from a team when you run a Widowmaker, just clean plays, good consistency.
Yeah, on second, though, they did run into a hiccup, and they did stick on it for a really long time without it having the payoffs that they wanted. They almost got held there on second, but luckily, you know, there were some clutch plays coming out from the NRG squad. I want to really highlight Butcher. I think he was doing a really good job on the Winston to make sure that the Widowmaker wasn't getting dove as much. Smex was also there to just keep her safe a lot of the times too. So really good teamwork coming out from NRG.
Awesome. So we highlighted a Zachary Tracer. Now let's take a look at a Stratus Tracer. ZP?
Tracers for days here. Of course, this is Stratus here. By the way, on the very edge there, right? Down to 30 HP, gets the kills necessary, able to lay in consistent damage all the while. And I mean, that's Overwatch, right? Where just a movement out of focus or just a moment that goes a different way, he maybe dies way earlier into the fight, but he was able to stay alive, bring that in, and was a huge part of that being as close as it was.
Alrighty, let's check it out. So we're back into map selection. Because this is a tiebreaker map, it will take us to Oasis. Guys, what do you have to say about this?
As Jamerson has mentioned before, good for who are you? Lots of verticality, lots of room for Genji to spread his wings.
Yeah, we'll see. Probably we're going to have Damon back on that Sombra. We did see teams really favor that Sombra play. We'll see if Zachary goes for the Sombra himself, if we'll have that Sombra versus Sombra once again.
ZP?
Yeah, I mean, I think Sombra is going to come up here again, although it's been weird because we started out the series with so much Sombra play, and then it really wasn't favored on Escort at all. It wasn't really used on Assault too much at all. We even saw Torbjorn at a time over the Sombra, so it's hard to say how much of this is map-specific to how much our team's going, wait, maybe we're not getting as much room as we had wanted. So we're still in that exploratory period, but I would still expect to see it here. But don't forget that NRG Esports also went for Stratus on the Pharah with that one tank setup with no D.Va. Maybe they do that this time, but run the D.Va with it.
Yeah, run the D.Va with it indeed. I would love to see that coming out from Smex because on Ilios, that triple DPS composition with the Sombra did not work at all.
I don't want to see that again. There's plenty of times where I'm just like, you know, this was a cool composition. It'd be cool to see it again. I don't want to see that again. Once was enough.
As far as Fusion versus NRG, do you think that Fusion has underestimated NRG?
It's hard to say. I mean, I don't, Fusion University coming in, as we mentioned, they were the favorites, but NRG, I mean, if anything, I would say just from the outside in, I think everyone might have underestimated NRG to an extent because they've come in stronger than expected here. We knew players like Stratus would be good, but overall, they've taken a favorite, the team that was able to win the Overwatch Beat Invitational and other, sort of benchmarks. They've taken them to the limit.
Yeah.
Jamerson, have you noticed, are there any particular weaknesses on either side that the teams have been exploiting?
For sure, right now on the side of Fusion University, Who Are You is not performing as expected. But, this could also just be ping disadvantage. I'm not entirely too sure if they have everyone flown on over. He is one of the younger cases. I believe he's like 16 years old. So that's a bit more difficult to work with, the whole visa issues to have him come over to North America to play. And especially playing a Genji on that kind of ping, it is difficult. But right now he's not performing to the level that we got to see throughout Beat Invitational, throughout Pit, throughout all the other competitions that they were competing in. So right now that is a weakness that they have been able to actually pick apart. And for the most part also, Beast Halo, it looks like there's a little bit of lack of communication going on in their dives as NRG has been able to really punish him.
If we're talking about weaknesses for Fusion University as well, I think the other thing is that Zachary has looked really good on Tracer. I don't think the times that he's been on Sombra in this matchup so far has really been his cup of tea. I think that, he really put in a lot of work on Tracer coming into this. And the situations where you see him in the Sombra and then you're putting Who Are You on the Tracer, it hasn't been great.
Alrighty, well, let's see, guys. Map 5, the deciding map between Fusion University and NRG Esports.
And now we move on to Oasis, where you can get run over by a car, but if you're in a car made by Lumerico Corporation, you'd be safe as you ran over that player.
Lumerico, lighting the way.
I'll probably get tired of this bit by week 3. I promise you it will not last forever, but nor will their paychecks. I'm very expensive to buy. Truly.
Now we're loaded up. We are on Oasis. It's going to be Garden, and it's Stratus. Of course, going for that Pharah. This time around, it's not going to be the triple DPS for NRG. It's going to be 2-2-2. The opposite end of Fusion University decides to opt out for Pharah. They're just going for that vanilla dive.
No Sombra in play here, and we do see the Pharah coming back out here from Stratus. But it is worth noting that, as we talked about, there's no situation where they're not running the D.Va, so they're running Pharah in a more traditional way. I like this from NRG Esports. Meanwhile, though, we got the ground war to look at here as Tracer starting in and around.
Yeah. And that just leaves Stratus just to get free shots off. He's already at 36% towards his ultimate now. They're trying to focus him down a little bit more, but he still has the pocket. And with that, Kraken gets demeched now, and they're going to lose Beast Halo because of it. And with it, NRG, as they slowly clean up, Zachary tries to bring them back into this for Fusion.
Look at the difference that you're seeing right now. How much more room Stratus has to be aggressive. Although Zachary at the bottom picks off 2. Doesn't really matter when you lose the ground war in a period of 0.3 seconds there. A sudden strike set up by the poke damage of Fusion University takes it, despite Stratus having a few decent moments there.
That shouldn't have happened. Kraken gets demeched. Beast Halo falls. They lost both of their tanks, but Zachary somehow just brings it back from the victory defeat, picking up a 3K to get them that point. Fusion University being carried so far by Zachary.
Zachary also playing the Tracer much better than we saw in Sombra. Pokes down Butcher with ease there, and now sets up the 6v5 for Fusion University, where Who Are You goes, are they worthy of my blade? Should the blade taste blood? And the answer is, in a little while.
The dragon will be sated a little bit later. And so now, Who Are You still sitting on that dragon blade? We're seeing that he is trying to keep Stratus on that Pharah checked. He's throwing shurikens into the sky. He's got to be careful. They drop down back onto him, but now there we go. Valkyrie out for Rob. It's Who Are You pushing forward. Stratus now with a 2-man barrage.
Meanwhile, he's just waving his sword like he's mad. He might have to be mad because he couldn't really get into the fight a good way. He thought there'd be more people in the alleyway than there were. There weren't. And Stratus, backed up by that Valkyrie power, now able to get to the point, do a little bit more, and this should be NRG's first taken round. But Fusion University's still in a very good spot.
Yeah, they are stalling it out now, so getting a bit more percentage here or there before it flips on over. 70 is how much Fusion University will secure here, even getting some staggered kills, a great demech onto Kraken.
And NRG, they are able to hold, they are able to keep on where they're at right now. And now the key here for the next fight is just going to be get a good barrier, I feel like. Set this up on the right foot.
I'm ready to unleash my primal rage.
Kraken though, looking towards him. He's got the self-destruct, and with Stratus, along with Rob in the air, this is the moment. If we can find them in a vulnerable spot to get a great self-destruct to take both of them out.
Well, now they're going to leap right in. Stratus still uncontested on the top, but you got to worry about the bottom right now. Who Are You dashes in, finds Phozix immediately. They're just ignoring Stratus, and it's working out for Fusion University right now, or at least it was for a moment. They're going to be able to res the Fallen, and though Stratus is getting too much done here over the top, the ground war is still doing pretty well here for NRG Esports. But there's a self-destruct, you're going to move in, Kraken is going to get back into his mech, but all the while, NRG Esports maintains control, and Fusion not able to decisively remove them from the point here.
Sound barrier out, and as you can see, Stratus just getting all the free damage off there. Last kill onto Elk, but ooh, they might have overextended. NRG now, Who Are You coming in with the blade? Hasn't found anyone yet, takes to the skies, but Stratus is able to get out of harm's way here, but not away from Alarm, who connects with those orbs.
That was the world's saddest bird's eye view from there. You look down, it's like, oh, I see 3 death circles.
All my friends are dead.
Yeah, that is actually the quintessential all my friends are dead moment. Bible thump.
Now Fusion University with control of the point, ticking up almost 80% now. NRG coming in for the retake, and all they have for that is going to be the barrage. Damon almost has the pulse bomb here. And Fusion University are so behind, though, in terms of ultimates.
And you don't want to throw this barrage into the Diva, at least while she's looking at the Matrix up. Stratus has to keep in mind where Kraken is. They're focusing Kraken down. They can get him down. They can go for the barrage, but they heal at the time. But he's so out of position that the barrage still comes in, gets one, but the punish was there. Stratus doesn't get as much as he wants. Fusion University, well prepared in their positioning on this fight. Zachary is going to demech Smex, and Damon right now struggling on the sides, looking for anything as his team dies around him. Overtime's going to be ticking down, and it's Fusion University 1 round away from taking the series.
Garden going the way of Fusion University, and so that was a real back and forth. It was interesting because Stratus, he wasn't being dealt with at all up until like the latter ends of the fights. Fusion University, they were fighting 6v5s on the ground, and well, 6v4s on the ground, winning out handedly. Maybe they should have swapped off from that Pharah on the side of NRG.
Well, again, it just comes down to this idea of how do you handle the Pharah? And there's 2 classical options. You ignore the Pharah and go, this Pharah is not good enough to do enough damage while we focus on other targets, or it's, this Pharah is a priority, we need to take her out. Fusion University, they choose the former, and it works out.
So now we're loaded onto City Center here of Oasis. Fusion University 1 point away from taking this series away from NRG. Now, do still have that Pharah on the NRG squad. Stratus getting some good damage off, and there we go. That's the rocket he wants. Who are you down? 2 members down on the side of Fusion University.
Stark difference from the previous round where Stratus this time able to land the early pickoff that you want from a Pharah there, where you're not only in the sky and uncontested, but you make the other team pay for it, and that's how you get first control here in City Center.
So Zachary's going to swap away. He's going over to that Soldier 76 as Elk picks up the Mercy for himself. And I think what they're looking to do, just get the orb onto Stratus, damage boost that 76. Stratus drops low, but he still has the Mercy pocket, keeping him alive. Never mind, Alarm clips his wings.
Anti-air Zenyatta, a anti-aircraft battery if there ever was one. Yet David diving into the back line, crushing Fusion from the back while that was going on. And NRG Esports, they still get to sit pretty here on the City Center.
Already, yeah, 30% secured for them here. Because Fusion University made those swap-offs, they are lagging behind in ultimates. Zachary not getting much opportunity there. There is going to be the res. Elk gets it off, and so Damon backs away.
Damon was really close to getting that pick off onto Mercy there, but unfortunately Mercy had tons of protection in the process. And yet, NRG Esports being oppressive right now in the Fusion University, not even letting them get into the City Center main area for the most part. So actually got to break away from the main group here. But overall, it's still very rough as Fusion University is starting to make a way in. They got the Helix rocket from afar onto Mercy, and it's Zachary now with room to work with.
Yeah, that was just some great focus fire coming out from Krakenlaken. When he was facing off against Smex, I thought when he was boostering in, to try and get those micro missiles off onto Smex's mech. Instead, there was Rob behind him, behind Smex, and the focus fire came out. It was Krakenlaken and Zachary just all trying to get rid of that Mercy, and once they did, all the dominoes fell. So NRG lost the point, but they made some good work. 68% for them.
Stratus now moving on the other side. It's a little bit harder to take this point from the attacking Pharah side compared to the early opening Gambit or from the defensive Pharah Gambit, but Stratus right now biding his time. Barrage up and ready. Meanwhile, Fusion University, it's Zachary gunning Rob out of the air, and that just takes away the power from Stratus, right? Where Stratus is now has to be worried about poke, and they're just going to back out and wait for Rob.
Yeah, I figured that Rob would kite away more, would play the LOS because he knew the visor was out. Stratus had to have made that call. Now NRG Esports, they're sitting on 4 ultimates here while Fusion University, it's going to be who are you with the blade. He can have the damage boost if Elk decides to Valk in with him, but there's the barrage coming up, backed up by a barrier.
It's an interesting gauge because Fusion University gave them so much space to rely on. They let NRG just get to the top City Center pillar. Here comes Who Are You to the back, picks off 2, but it's so late into the fight, it's so delayed. It's at the situation where you gave NRG so much room, and NRG just gonna continue and say thank you for the gift, Fusion University, and pile on here onto the point. Very likely be a take from NRG Esports, and it's gonna make this very close indeed.
Yep, Rez to bring Krakenlaken back into this. He's got his mech back in safely, but instantly it gets deleted. Never mind, no, the Transcendence is there to back him up, and so now 85% Fusion University holding on to the point. It's just a sliver for NRG to take it.
And this is where you can still delay for such a long time City Center. In any other control point would have been NRG flipping it back over, but they're able to buy enough time for Respawn to come in. NRG overextends a little bit, and Zachary now with the punish. Tac visor up, gets robbed, flew in the wrong direction, and Zachary gets the dream cleanup. 4, almost 5 kills as Soldier 76. And that's gonna be Fusion University defending their turf, 99%, and the round and the match will go the way of good old Fusion University here. It's NRG desperately trying to fight this back, but that's gonna be the last of the stagger, or is it? They're not going down that fight, so let's hope we're not premature, but no, that's gonna be it. Fusion University gonna take it.
Go bravely into that dark night, but yeah, they will go ahead and get that victory, 3-2. I mean, we're basically just reliving history. This is how Sunday started off with us, 3-1, and then into a 3-2 for our second match. So, I mean, is that how it's gonna break down in our next match? It's nuts.
It's gonna break down in a way that the casters end up breaking down. Like, that's a real endurance test here, but hey, it's great Overwatch. Who can complain?
There was something that you brought up at the very beginning of that, where you said that ignoring Stratus's Pharah actually helped. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, and Basically, the idea is that you need certain heroes to really effectively get in against the Pharah, and normally that'd be like a 76 or a McCree backed up by a Diva, but then you're putting a lot of focus on the Pharah who could fly away or get out of harm otherwise.
Or just stay pocketed by a Mercy, so even if you do land any damage, it gets instantly healed up, and you're just charging them up even more.
Right, so what you can do sometimes, you focus on the ground and you go, look, Pharah can only do so much damage in a given period of time. We don't think that this player is going to be able to damage us enough while we focus on the ground targets, and that's how we're going to make this work.
All right, well, let's take a moment to take a look at our Old Spice player of the match, and it is going to Zachary.
And why not? I mean, he came up with some clutch plays. It was Zachary, definitely. Like when we saw on Dorado, that pick off onto the Sombra and then going straight in for that pulse bomb, that was huge.
And that's just cleanup by Zachary at the end, where again, there's good visors, and then there's visors that you simply dream about. And when the other team is in disarray, when they're worried about, good Lord, how do I get back onto the point? The last thing you want to worry about is Grandpa with goggles on, just gunning everyone down in sight.
So would you say that Fusion took this despite weaknesses?
I think they took it in a way that was far less dominant than we expected coming in here, which in part is, I think, testament to the part where I don't think they played with Sombra very well at all, especially given how the first two maps went. But I also think it's a testament to NRG Esports being a lot stronger than people would have thought early on. So I'm going to say glass half full here and say that this was more NRG Esports looking good.
Yeah, they definitely look good, despite some of the weaknesses on Fusion University's side. I don't want to take anything away from NRG. Even despite this loss, I was not expecting it to be this close, 3-2 going in favor of Fusion University.
Alrighty, so you're saying, I guess it's safe to assume that you're expecting quite a bit more of a showing out of NRG throughout the rest of the season.
If they can play like they did today, certainly I expect more. Yes, we knew that Group B was going to be very stacked coming in here to begin with, and NRG being stronger than expected here just kind of makes that even more, which makes this a very big win for Fusion University, because if NRG Esports is able to go in and then upset, say, an Optic or an Envision later on, that makes this particular win even more important for playoff seeding on the Fusion University end.
Yeah, and to note, it is, once again, important when we get down to these 3-2 victories that we start off with control, and once we go into the tiebreaker, we end with control. So we saw both of these 2-0s coming out for Fusion University, and especially when NRG are going to go ahead and run that Pharah composition, the dive becomes that much more potent for Fusion University. They're fighting a 6v4 on the ground, while two members, the Pharah on the Mercy for the side of NRG, are just busy trying to do anything from the sky.
You know, Jamerson, ZP, I've been meaning to tell you, you guys have such nice hands. You must work out at the Old Spice hand gym.
My secret is out. I didn't just buy Old Spice.